We are going here on a Friday. Exciting stuff. Ready for the weekend. Ready for what was a big day. It's a big day yesterday for the show. Trying to get that to pop back in. Yeah, not going to work today. I had to dismantle my equipment today. I had to go do a podcast for somebody else, help them out with their podcast, and then come back. So things are a little bit in disarray at the current state of things. So, but we're here. Ariel's back in the house. Good to see you, Ariel. Been a minute watching on the YouTube. Appreciate that. Mucho apreciado for watching on YouTube. Wherever you're watching, thank you. Ariel on YouTube, Facebook, got some people showing up here. Twitch, like that. We actually just customized our YouTube channel. So now it's youtube.com/Cooperville Live. So kudos to us making big things happen. I'm just going to try to, since nobody is paying attention, let's see if we can't do this here. Well, apparently it isn't. There we go. I was wondering where the hell my music went. There was a short in the wire. Hey, Mary. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Joe's in the house watching on Twitch. Yes, sir. Doing the damn thing. Appreciate it, as always. Patreon link, of course. You know, we're doing exclusive stuff on Patreon. Join up. Man, we're working on that merch. Cooperville clothing. It's pretty badass. Pretty excited. You will be able to access that through the Patreon soon. So join up. It's all good, Ariel. She's busy. Got stuff going on. I get that. That's life. We're always here, though. Every single weekday we're here. And the videos exist beyond. So it's not just watching it live. You can go back and watch the video whenever you'd like to. I have new stuff from Blacklight District. We're going to be doing a sit-down with Kyle. I think on his YouTube channel, though. I'm not 100%. We chatted about it a little bit, but we're going to figure that out. But him and I are going to do some stuff together, so that'll be cool. It's good, though. New song's good. Digging it. Speaking of things I dig, get this out in just a second. Boom. I like that. Just came in the mail today. How to make shit happen. Sean Whalen. Love it. Make more money, get in better shape, create epic relationships, control your life, and do it now. Brand new. No, it's not brand new. The book's not brand new. It's new to me because it just came today. But we had Sean on the show on Monday. If you missed that episode, all the episodes this week were fucking ridiculous. I mean, just fantastic. If you missed the Sean Whalen episode on Monday, Sean Whalen, CEO, founder of Lions Not Cheap, he was on the show. Lots to say, lots of good quality information that he passed along. So if you missed that episode, if you're on YouTube, it's probably over there. Maybe it's over there. I don't know. But it's on YouTube. It's on Twitch. And if you really want to scroll back on Facebook, on the Facebook page, it's back there too. So check that out and get the book. This is like $5. $5. And it could be life-changing. This is the kind of shit you need to invest in. This is the second book I've gotten this week. I just got to find time to read it between the morning run, work, the show, post-show, next day, lather, rinse, repeat. Spend my weekends working, man. Bueno. We had a big show yesterday. Holy shit. That was a big show. Mariah Formica of Plush was on the show, and it was a great interview. What a great conversation. We went on for like 45 minutes. But the response, and I checked right after I got done with the show, right afterwards. There were apparently 3,000 people watching on Facebook. Facebook alone, not including Twitch, not including YouTube. But on Facebook alone, there was like 3,000 people that were tuned in watching yesterday's interview with Mariah. I was like, what? That's crazy. Her fans were great, though. A lot of questions yesterday. Everybody chimed in. It was fantastic. So I went to bed last night and got up this morning and happened to check the video again because there was a ton of interaction with it, and it was up to just under 7,000, like 6,700 views of the interview yesterday, of the live stream. And I checked when I got home from work today, kind of home from work. It was a different kind of day. And it was over 7,000 views of the video on Facebook. So that's cool. If you wouldn't mind, if you are watching and you want to share that video, that would be awesome. We're trying to break the bank with that one. So just go, if you're on Facebook, jump and share that video and have people watch it. Not just because, you want to help the show. You don't want to super serve me necessarily, but it was a spectacular conversation. Very chill, very cool. We kind of covered all the topics about her and her career and her, she was on The Voice years ago, and then 4 years ago on The Voice, and then obviously the creation of Plush during the pandemic, and then the new song and a bunch of cool stuff. So check it out. If you haven't watched it yet, go and watch it. That'd be awesome. And share it. Sharing is caring, as the kids say. Joe on the Twitch, fucking awesome. It was, man. You were here. Mary, there it was. It was very cool. Very cool to see where this all could go. We don't have any guests today, so if you're waiting around for, your numbers are going to be slightly smaller. Just seeing me talk shit for an hour. Yep, Ariel up to 114, which means we got the custom URL now. YouTube.com/Cooperville Live. We're moving in the right direction, I guess. That's the whole point. But a great week. I talked about Sean on Monday. That was a fantastic conversation with Sean Whalen. Tuesday, we talked to Kevin McGuire, who's over in Scotland, which was cool. It was like 10 o'clock at night there when he jumped on. He had the brogue. Is it a Scottish? I know it's an Irish brogue because my family's Irish. Is it a Scottish brogue too? Does anybody know? But he used words like Shiite. It's great. But that dude, if you haven't checked out, and Joe can vouch for this because Joe checks out all the bands that come on here. That dude has this Keith Urban sound to him, and it's just spectacular. Kevin McGuire, at Kevin McGuire Official, I think on Instagram. So go and check him out. Who else talked to? We talked to Ty Oliver. Ty Oliver from Powerman 5000 was on Tuesday as well, out in LA. His new project, Ray Gun Romance. That was great. Great conversation from him. I'm not sure. I think it was his internet connection was a little wonky. So like it was like talking to Max Headroom, which if you're under the age of like 40, you have no idea who he is, but he's like, Max Headroom. Old school reference there. But great talk with him about Ray Gun Romance and the things going on out in LA. Wednesday. What do we have on Wednesday? Jeez, I got them. Not that they all run together, but sometimes it feels like they all kind of run together. That's not the right thing. Joe probably knows before I'm going to find out. Michael Del Pizzo from Sunflower Dead. That was it. We talked to him, which was great. They got a new album that they're like holding on to, they're just holding on to it. They're waiting to release it. It's called March of the Leopard, but hopefully that'll be out soon. I know they're going on tour with the Lonely Ones, which is awesome. The former Boba Flex fellas, the Lonely Ones is the name of their new outfit, and that's gonna be cool. They're gonna be hitting up, I think, Wisconsin in September. I don't know. Later on this year, so that'll be exciting. And yesterday with Mariah from Plush it was great. It was cool though. Like, so if you, and I know like Ariel, you probably know, if C-Dubs was in here, he would know too. Like if you use StreamYard, which is the platform that we use to stream on. So like I'll give you the insight. Like I see me in my box here. See? And I have a counter up here that says, it shows me all the people that are watching. But then over here, outside of your peripheral view, is all the comments. So I can see all your comments, and if they're awesome, I'll bring them on here, like Joe. Like I'll be like, man, fucking awesome. But there were so many people watching, and there were so many comments. It was like just rolling over here. I'm like, I was going to try to stop at some point, and I did at the end because I had to scroll back and have some questions and some compliments thrown out there during her interview. But it just kept on moving, and I couldn't quite take my eyes off of the conversation and my show notes to read anything. I think I got Joe on there a couple times, and then some other guests that were on there, but it was ridiculous. I'm like, like I need to hire a producer or somebody to monitor all this shit if it's going to be like that. But her fans were great. I mean, that was the cool part about it is, we put the post out about the show on Wednesday, and that had like 25,000 interactions with just that post. And that's from, she put it up, and then all of her fans shared it, and like my friends and family were sharing it, and it just like blew up, like zero paid reach. And it was all organic, and it was like last I checked, it was like 25,000 impressions. So it was ridiculous, but it was great. And it was a great conversation. So not just numbers wise, but by talking to Mariah was fantastic. And hopefully we can get them back on, because I know they have a lot of stuff they want to get done in 2021, including release the album and get some morning music out. So it's been a crazy week. So not that it's nice not to have a guest planned, or to have like, at 6:40 or 5:45, like, but I can just kind of like let it rip today. And, it's Friday, it's the weekend. I got some latte in here, which is probably why Mark Jameson won't be on my show, because I drink, which is cool. I'm just kidding. I love Mark. He's from Wisconsin, man. And, I'm a comeback is his thing. So, but it's nice not to have like, okay, got to get this done. Got to get all the artwork done, which I used to do the night before, and send out the emails and make sure everybody's connected and all their shit works. And it's like, just going to come on here and talk some shit for a little while, and be appreciative of all of you who are joining and keeping the stream alive from wherever you're watching it from, which is super cool stuff. So that was big. Big stuff this week. We got another big week next week too. Like as much as this week was like, it was wild. Like next week is equally as wild. I'd say if not wilder, but when you have Sean Whalen on, it's kind of tough to be like, well, it's gonna be wilder than that, because dude's just fucking brutally honest. Like, bam, hits you with those truth bombs left and right, and doesn't take no shit from nobody. So that was great. But we have a big week next week though. So hopefully, if you're new to the show, if you were one of the people that joined on to the program because of yesterday or because of who we had on this week, next week is going to be great as well. A lot of cool stuff. A lot of different genres of musicians, different people from different walks of life. Dr. J's going to be back on. We got some sports guys on. So it's going to be very cool next week. And we'll talk about that towards the end of the show. So that's cool. Want to get to some I want to see if this works, because my buddies at Ready Waves, Blake and Joey from Devour the Day and Egypt Central, and they're coming up with this great new streaming stuff. Ariel, I know you do some streaming things. This could be really cool for you when they drop the website and when that goes live. But they're working on this license-free music, because if Ariel, as you know, and other streamers, as you know, if you play licensed music, like I can't bust in and play some Dropkick Murphys or anything on here. But so they have licensed music that's non-licensed music, so you can play it during your stream. And they were sending me a bunch of samples of stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can pull this up on here. There we go. So we got some beats. Dr. Julia in the house, rocking that Queen Lines Not Cheap shirt. Yeah. Had to wear that out in public today. Had to go to Mo and do a podcast over at Momentum. But a lot of people, even when I walked in, I had to go to Momentum Sport Fitness with my buddy Jim and Jackie. I'm kind of producing their podcast that they're going to launch. And So on the back of the Jeep, I got the big Lines Not Sheep sticker. And I was wearing this hoodie, and I walked in, and then one of the members that was getting ready to go work out was like, I love the sticker, and I love the shirt. And I'm like, yeah. I think she got it. Dr. Julia, thanks for being a part of it. Chris Rowe in the house. What's up, brother? Been a hot minute, man. Been a hot minute. Thanks for joining, man. And get some copyright thing or something. Yeah, there's some things you can do to get out the DMCI, whatever that is. But this stuff is all like license free, so I can just play it. We can just jam. I'm not gonna have music for my news. I belong to the Lions Den coaching group. I just signed up, and this is different, Dr. Julia. This is I signed up for the Lions Not Sheep experience. Well, I applied for it. I applied for Lions Not Sheep experience. We had Sean on Monday, and he was talking about quarter 2, 3, and 4. They're going to be opening up the application period for it, but you can go on and like submit your stuff so you get notified when the application period opens up. As I was talking to Nicole about it after the show was done on Monday, and he was like, Are you going to do Lions Not Sheep experience? I'm like, I hadn't thought about it. I feel like I get my ass kicked enough, like self-servingly kick my own ass enough. But then I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. So I submitted my information to get information when the application period is open to do the Lions Not Sheep experience. But I think it's like 3 days of just like ass kicking. And so we'll see. We'll see if I get us accepted. I feel like since I have the book now, like if I keep on flashing this, maybe they'll pick me up, you know? But no, hey, Dr. Julia, send me a DM on that because I want to get involved with the Lions Den, his coaching group. I hear it's freaking insane. Like it's epic. So I'm interested. I had a bunch of irons in the fire over here. You got the show, we got the beard company, we got the apparel company coming out in a couple of months. Hopefully that'll be ready to go. Just ready again for the third time. I'm excited. Like I feel like that could become my Friday night, much to the chagrin of many. Like, oh, the show's done. I'm just gonna like that may be it. So awesome, thank you. Yeah, send me over some. I saw the info. I could probably find it myself, but since you're already in, maybe you can give me some insight on it. Joining the Lions Den, because yeah, that's just reading. I think I've read some of the client quotes and stuff they put up on the website for Lions Den, which John Whalen's coaching group. And it's just like some life-changing stuff, which I'm into. I'm into some life-changing stuff. You're never too old, right? Never too old. Never. Cool stuff. Ariel says, one of my videos premiered today. I got 2 copyrights because of 2 songs, Blacklight District, Me Against the World, and Craving. Yeah. They do that. I'm telling you, it's tough. Come after you for playing other people's music because somebody's got to get paid, and usually it's the record company. Unless you got an indie act, then they can usually get paid, which is cool too. You know, is that going to still play when I switch it out here? We'll see. No, guess not. So we don't get music. Well, we're working on it. It's a work in progress. Everything is here. I found this interesting, and I guess not interesting in the fact that it's like super surprising, but interesting in the fact that like some truth bombs are being dropped here. Because we always think the story comes from the Daily Beast. We always think that we as in the United States, we're like, well, we're obviously number one. Like we're the best. Like despite all of our shit, which there's a lot of, like we're the best, right? Like we have it all figured out. We're the happiest. We're the richest. We're the smartest. We're the whatever. Like we get right. Number one. We're number one. Hold that thought. This past week has seen 2 new studies that have got to cut flag-waving Uncle Sam has abs of steel boosters to their quick. In the latest World Happiness Report, America ranked 19th. We are the 19th happiest country on planet Earth. In the most recent Freedom House World Democracy Rankings, The U.S. plummeted to a position right behind Argentina and Mongolia, on par with Panama, Romania, and Croatia. And by the way, infrastructure. I don't know why why they combine these two stories. I figure like you could have probably made two stories out of this, but lazy journalism. That's cool too. America's infrastructure ranks 13th in the world. So better than 19th as far as happiness goes. Infrastructure. Yeah, it says 13th here, Chris, but still. We're number one. Well, like, and I just wanted, I have a legit question. Like, who did you ask? Like, who do you poll when you're asking people about happiness in the United States? Like, what is your, like, do you sample all demographics? Do you kind of say in metropolitan areas or you go rural? Because I think there's clearly been, especially over the last year, a major point of reference that people in rural or smaller areas, I don't even necessarily say rural, smaller areas outside of metropolitan areas are seemingly much happier than those who live on top of each other in places like New York and LA and even in like places like Minneapolis, St. Paul. But so like, who do you ask? And I always have a thing with polls and questionnaires and like, well, according to a recent study studies, okay, one thing, according to a recent survey, like who the fuck takes a survey? Right? Like when you get messages or you get emails or somebody calls or comes to your house, like who has the time to take a survey? I don't have time to take a survey about how happy I am. I don't. Perhaps they use some sort of algorithm, and I'm not really going to read the story because, it's Daily Beast. But maybe they like looked at what people post on social media and they had some sort of AI that read through and was like, oh, people just post angry shit. Well, yeah, it doesn't mean they're necessarily angry. But 19th in the world in happiness. You have to, like, there has to be some barrier. You can't put people all on the same level playing field and then say, well, this is happiness and this isn't, because I mean, like, it's probably better here than other places, but so our happiness is on a curve. Like we have all the abundance. Maybe we're just really super ungrateful of all the things and all the potential and prospect and prosperity. Maybe we're just jaded. So if you have everybody on this like even keel, like here's the line of happiness and here's who's above it and here's who's below it. Like, well, we're probably above it by default just because we have, all the things and access to all the things for the most part. But the reason that we're unhappy is because we're like, it's just not good enough. I want to be the happiest. I'll be happier. $15 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I making any sense? Like Croatia. I don't know. I've never been there. It's probably beautiful. I think isn't there beaches in Croatia? No, whatever. But so you have this like, yeah, okay, so they have this, but they're economically and like educational wise, they're kind of down here. So we're already above that, but we're just angry enough that it brings down our total number. I'm just talking shit, but it just seems like maybe it's not necessarily happiness. It's more like severe ungratefulness or severe lack of drive and determination to go and do anything about anything. You know what I mean? Like, just not happy because minimum wage is only whatever it is. Okay. That's not necessarily what I would utilize as a reference point for happiness. Money can't buy happiness. I mean, it makes it easier, but I find it weird that if it's on a level playing field and everybody is like ground floor, which isn't how it is in real life. It sucks in places a lot. But we're the 19th happiest, according to this the World Happiness Report, which I'm sure takes into consideration a lot of things. It's going to be hard to thump our chest about the legacy of the founders when we now have a system of government on par with the places like Mongolia and Romania. See what I'm saying? Like, they're putting it on a level playing field and then judging happiness based off of like one. There's not a bell curve like there should be. Like, oh yeah, we're just maybe super ungrateful for stuff. Maybe not. The infrastructure thing, well, makes sense. 19th, Ariel, 19th in the world in happiness. I don't know. I consider myself a pretty happy guy. Things haven't always been fantastic, but I'm like, overall, doesn't suck. Things I don't want to do, but I think that's where you get into, like, you have to get over that shit. There's a great quote today, which I know has been said many times before. I think I first remember hearing it specifically from reading David Goggins' book. But Jim Brewer, who I was with today over at Momentum Sport Fitness, he said, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable, which means when things are tough, you have to be able to like thrive during those times. But most people don't do that. They get uncomfortable and then they retreat. It's the fight or flight whole thing, And it's that whole monkey brain, lizard brain thing, like, hey, what do I do to protect myself? I'm unhappy. Yeah. Happiness is what you make of it, folks. The future is what you make of it. That is a famous quote by Dr. Emmett Brown. Back to the Future 3. The most underrated of all of the Back to the Future movies was 3. It was weird. Like, we're in the Wild West now. Huh. Interesting. Number 19. Yeah, did we get like foam fingers? On the picture, they have like a foam finger of Lady Liberty with like a number 19 on it. Like, did we do that now? Dumb. The new Suicide Squad, James Gunn Suicide Squad trailer came out today. And let me preface this by saying I was a huge fan of the original. Like, everybody like totally hated it, and it was like, whoa, it sucks. And everybody hated Jared Leto's Joker, and I thought it was great. So the trailer came out for the new one, Suicide Squad 2 or more Suicide, whatever the hell it's called. I'm not sure. New actors in it. Harley Quinn is back. So Margot Robbie is back in it, which, that's all right. But it's just, you took out, like, it's just weird. There's a giant starfish, which I get from like the DC universe. Like, I understand it, but I'm like, Sharkman, a giant starfish, which I guess is maybe a contradiction because I'm like, yeah, Killer Croc makes total sense. Sharkman, what the fuck? Killer Croc, yeah, I get it. Bad lab test. A talking shark. No, we're pushing the envelope. But the Red Label trailer just came out today, which you can check out. It's all over the place. I saw it on, I think, entertainmentweekly.com. I saw it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just numb to the whole like movie thing now. I don't know. This doesn't jazz me up like it. Land Shark, that's what it is. Jeez, Shark Man. Land Shark. It's weird though, right? Like, raises his hand. I was all like, oh, like, the hand? Killer Croc made sense. I don't know. Don't ask me. This I found interesting. I know there's several of you in here that are avid podcast listeners. If you listen to mine, thank you so much. I appreciate it. By the way, we're moving all the podcast audio over to our Patreon. So if you want to join that, that'd be awesome. Let me pop this in here. Boop, boop. There you go. You can join the Patreon for a monthly fee, and you can get access to not only the new content, the new audio that's coming out, but all previous podcasts that I've done. I think I had like 70 or 80 that I did over the last year plus. But anyway, so big podcast fan. Listen to Rogan, obviously. Really started getting into the Sean and Sax show, which is with Sean Whalen and his wife, Saxony, which was great on so many levels. If you haven't listened to that one yet, go and check it out. not just because he was on the show. And then I try to get like a bunch of different perspectives. You know, I like Tim Pool. I listen to Tim Pool. I listen to Ben Shapiro just to see what he's going on about. Yeah, just like a bunch of different things. You know, the things they don't want you to know, like that pops in there every once in a while. And then if I'm guest specific, like I'm looking for something from like Cameron Haynes or David Goggins, Ed Millett, you know, Ed's got his own podcast too. I'll go and search those out. But this is weird. So I don't know who put this together. I think it was USA Today. I think For the Win is a USA Today thing. So they put together because everybody does this. I worked in rock radio. I worked in radio for 20 years. We're like, let's do a bracket on something because it's bracket time. Let's just do something really stupid in brackets. Whatever. They're still doing that, by the way, just in case you lost track. So For the Win decides to do this ultimate podcast bracket. So 64, I think they did 64 different podcasts. There's no Rogan in the bracket. Probably one, if not the most. Actually, it's not. It's like some like true crime shit. That's like the most listened to podcast, which is whatever. No Rogan. No Shapiro, no Tim Pool. Sean and Sachs thing that just came out. They just started that a couple of months ago. None of what I would consider to be the biggest podcasts on planet Earth are on here as part of the bracket. That's like, maybe they're trying to do it because like Duke wasn't in the NCAA tournament. They had to, relieve themselves because of COVID shit. I think all the big dogs really weren't in it this year. The UNC was in it, Kentucky, but whatever. But to not have, this could be a bias against Joe because he did obviously go Spotify exclusive. So maybe that's it, because it's not available on all podcast platforms. It's exclusively available on Spotify, which if they want to pick up my show and pay me a 10th of what they paid Rogan, like I'm in. Like, dude, peace out. Go on Spotify exclusive. We'll run the show. We'll do the video just like they do. Like, cool. I'm in. I'm taking the check. It just makes sense. But to not have him in the podcast bracket, like For the Win? That's not the win, bro. Dude. Nick Schwartz. It's not winning. That's like when Garth Brooks took his name out of the running for Entertainer of the Year because he wins so much. Like, yeah, I'm not going to run, so everybody else can play. And maybe that's it. Joe's like, I don't care about your stupid bracket. Like, and in case you're wondering, Cooperville did not make the list either, so we are not one of the top 64 podcasts apparently. They've apparently done this for many years because seeking an historic three-peat in the ultimate podcast bracket, Binge Mode has cruised through the right side of the bracket, winning at least 70% of the vote in each of the last 3 rounds. The champs will face off against Crime Junkie, a repeat of the 2019 final. Come on. That's what we're doing now. By the way, the real champ, not even in the tournament. It's wild. This is kind of wild. If you have children in the room, maybe make them leave. We're gonna talk about privates. Greta Thunberg tweets how penises are getting smaller due to pollution. Huh? Citing a study linking pollution to shrinking penis size and babies born with smaller genitalia, Greta Thunberg tweeted Thursday asking people to attend her next climate strike. So now it's pollution that is shrinking male genitalia. I didn't read the study. I didn't have time. I didn't have the audacity, and I don't really care. But it does bring me to like one. This is going to relate really well to that whole who takes polls thing. Okay. Like who's the would you like to take a poll about your happiness? No. Who's volunteering for that kind of research? Like, say you're at your doctor's office or something. Okay. Doctor's like, hey, we're doing this thing. We're trying to see, if the size is going down, going up, staying the same. Like so we want to measure. What? Gets a tape measure out. Big old steel one, double wide. We just want to measure. Doc, I came in here for allergies, but I'm going to keep my pants on this time. Thank you, though. Appreciate the offer. Well, you get a sticker I don't want a fucking sticker. I voted sticker. I ain't getting an got vaccinated sticker. Nope, no stickers. I got my penis measured for science. That's the first thing. That's where my mind goes because I'm a toddler. Hey, who volunteered for that? How many people? Did you get paid for that? Did you get paid for that kind of a moment? Imagine you agree to it. However that happens. I'm not sure if it's a doctor's office thing, if they're just like people that come to your door like, hey, we'd like to ask you some questions. But so imagine you are part of this study, part of the research for the study. And you're like, volunteer. Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? Like, I don't care. Go ahead. Get take the yardstick out. Let's you say some stupid shit like that. And then like the study comes out, it's like, well, they're shrinking, and you're like, what? No, like that one, like, hey, I raised the curve and everybody else brought it down. Like that's such a dude thing. Like that wasn't me. I honey, I don't understand people, man. People are just wild. Like, how did you come across this information? Why is Greta Thunberg retweeting it? As a ploy to get people to come to her next climate strike. Like, what? I better go to your next climate strike because. Can we get sound effects on this show? D Price, if you're watching, man, we got to get that. We got to get those sound effects set up, man. We're going to get what are we going to get? Yeah, the touch screen thing. So we can just throw random stuff in there like that and switch screens. I'm not sure what the hell it's called. Stream Deck. That's what it is. Stream Deck. Elgato. And the Elgato Stream Deck. And we can play things like when we're talking about stupid people that subject themselves to have their penis measured for science. It's for science. Well, if you volunteer for something like that, well, hats off to you, man. Good for you. I'm not going to say what's wrong with the world because there's a long list of long and distinguished list. This is kind of sad. I'll go into the story by reminding everybody of about a year ago. What were we doing about a year ago? It was like the first stages of lockdown, first stages of safer at home, which turned out to be bullshit. But what was the big thing? What was everybody just mind blown over? Yeah, Tiger King. Remember Tiger King? Tiger King was like the Band-Aid that got us through like 15 days to flatten the curve or something. 15-ish days, year plus. Tiger King was like the thing, man. Everybody was, there's Tiger King memes, there's books, there was a thing they wanted President Trump to pardon the Tiger King. It was huge. It was a phenomenon, national phenomenon. Like, just, if you watched the Tiger King and didn't feel better about your life, you're probably somebody who takes pulls, man. Think about that shit. Think about it. Because you watch and you're like, what? This is real? These are real. This is really happening. And you go, hey, as much as things kind of suck and, it's kind of not super happy right now. Obviously, we're 19th in the country in happiness. But, like, it ain't that bad. Like, I ain't not that fucked up. Whew. You kind of had that collective sigh of relief from everybody that was watching the show. You're like, oh, man, I feel better because I'm not them. But we watched it, riveted, like, huh, really? That bitch Carol Baskins. Remember that phrase? That was like everybody's thing. That was everybody's comeback to like every question. Like, hey, who didn't do the laundry? That bitch Carol Baskins did. It was the comeback to everything. Was that bitch Carol Baskins? And that bitch ended up on Dancing with the Stars. What? I have my own qualms with Dancing with the Stars. I actually just have a question mark about what? Like, she's a star now? Whatever. I digress. Anyway, Tiger King, huge. If you didn't watch it, you knew people that were talking about it. It was wild. And Jeff Lowe was the douchey guy that came in and kind of got the feeling that he probably had a part in setting up the Tiger King, right? Like, you had a feeling. Smarmy, affliction wearing, like, hot wife and then a hot nanny, and they all did it together. Tigers and lions and bears, oh my, like all that. You're like, that dude's just smarmy, lot of embroidery on his pants. Yeah. Well, now that I talked a bunch of shit about him, Jeff Lowe is now recovering after suffering a stroke. He suffered the stroke at the WinStar World Casino in Oklahoma on March 18th, TMZ reports. The zoo owner was unconscious and not breathing when his wife, Lauren, found him in their hotel room at 3 a.m. He was airlifted to a Texas hospital and spent 3 days there before returning home. He's reportedly recovering, but having difficulty speaking and fine motor skills. The couple has suggested a strange man who claimed to know them and to know their drink of choice may have drugged them while on a dinner date. Huh. It's interesting, right? Like, I just read that. I didn't even know that last part. I read the headline and kind of dabbled into the beginning of the story. But the whole part about somebody else did it is odd. Like, she's fine, right? Okay. And nobody wants, dude. I don't want to see anybody suffer or have a stroke. I mean, that's horrible. But to out the gate be blaming like some dude probably drugged him. Like, maybe the dude's like really unhealthy. Doesn't seem like he's had a life of a lot of good choices, which I'm not one either, but like, at least try. Here's the thing. So if you watch the show, right, and I'm not going to join in or start a conspiracy theory here, but like, you watch the show and, he comes out and he's got the pretty wife. And then like had this whole thing, like searching for a hot nanny who is like cool with getting down with both of them. Like, it if you were writing a Hollywood script about it, like at some point the wife's going to get sick of the shit. Like she's going to be like, so perhaps, oh yeah, there was some guy, maybe she paid him off. Huh? Okay. Sick of this guy's shit. I just want his money. Maybe she wanted to run off with a nanny. We don't know. We don't know. But now you're thinking about it. And that's really that's really the point behind this whole show, is to get you thinking about shit like that when you have absolutely no reason to whatsoever. Like that wasn't even anywhere near your thought process until right now. You're welcome. I'm here to educate. It seemed like a simpler time though. I mean, strangely enough, like the Tiger King era, Tiger King portion of the COVID pandemic was like, yeah, all right, cool. Like, yeah, we're just going to kick it and watch stupid TV shows and probably put on some weight. And then when it's done, it'll be summertime. We're just going to go crush it. Not so much the case. No. We'll wrap up with this story because I think it's fucking hilarious, but kind of. The story comes from Fox News. A Georgia man who was having trouble getting his last paycheck from his employer was shocked to discover its equivalent in pennies dumped in his driveway earlier this month. Fayetteville's Andreas Flatten had quit his job at a Peachtree City's AOK Walker Luxury Auto Works in November of 2020. He told local WGCL TV that he had been in the automotive repair shop for a year and had known his boss, Miles Walker, for 8 years, but the toxic working conditions had taken a toll on him. He gave his 2-week notice, writing a letter of resignation to Walker, who reportedly promised Flatten's final $915 check will be paid to him in January. Come January, the check never arrived, and Flatten said his former boss accused him of damages. He even called Georgia's Department of Labor for assistance in the matter without much luck. Months later, Flatten and his girlfriend Olivia were leaving his house when they noticed something at the end of the driveway. More than 91,000 oil-greased covered pennies in an envelope with his final pay stub that was addressed with an explicit message, "Fuck you." The pennies weighed more than 500 pounds total, breaking the wheels off of his wheelbarrow. Dismayed by the incident, the girlfriend took to social media with videos of the scene, writing on Facebook that no one like that deserves to have a successful business. The dude called the move childish and noted that cleaning the pennies was going to be a lot of work for money he had already earned. I mean, total dick move. Total dick move. It's like, but here's how I would justify it. Like when you get a bullshit ticket, whether it's like if you're from a state that has like odd even parking during the winter, so you have to park on the odd side of the street and on the even side of the street on depending on what the date is, in case there's a snow emergency, so that the plows can get through and then they can clear one side of the street, then you move your car and they get the other side of the street. Okay, makes sense. It makes sense when there's snow. It makes zero fucking sense when it does not snow. There's no snow in the forecast and there's no snow on the ground, which has happened. So if you are not abiding by that odd even thing and somebody gives you a ticket, dick move, right? So I would understand if you got something like that. Like we had a couple days in February where it was really nice out, sun was shining, it was like in the 50s. If you had gotten a ticket for parking on the wrong side of the street when there was no snow on the ground, I would gladly go with you to, the clerk of courts to pay your fine with a bunch of pennies. Dick move for a dick move, right? Now we're even. Even Steven. So using that methodology, using that logic, it's kind of funny. It's a dick move, but it's kind of funny. 500 pounds, 91,000 pennies, covered in grease and oil and dirt. Probably like the change at an auto repair shop that they dig out of like weird places if they're doing like a detail. Like, oh, let me just put this in this bucket and eventually it's 900 and some $915 worth of pennies. Do you think they counted it first? Like, it seems like if this boss guy was as big of a dick as the former employee says, like he's probably pretty stringent with his money. So he wants to make damn sure that if he's making that payout, that it's exactly $915. I'm just saying. This is the world we live in. These are the hands we are given. Thank you, Phil Collins. Coming up on next week's show, it's another big week. So hopefully you can all join us Monday through Friday, starting at 5 p.m. On Monday, we have Dr. Jay LaGuardia joining us once again on the show. We're going to talk more. Dr. Jay's been great about bringing us information about COVID and the research and vaccine information, like because he is a diligent researcher. If I've met a researcher, that dude lives on top of Research Mountain, and he just does it all. He knows everything, every story, every bit of information. Great source. So we'll probably talk some COVID stuff with him, but I also want to talk about his coaching of young entrepreneurs and some of the things that he does to get people from starting a business to being successful to planning the rest of their life. So he is on Monday. Also, Wisconsin sports broadcaster and great human being Bill Michaels is going to be on the show coming up on Monday. We'll talk to Bill about all things. He had a crazy beginning of 2021. Like left his longtime job and then was on hiatus for a while, then came back and was like live streaming. He's still live streaming. Now he's back on the radio, just crazy stuff. We'll also talk a little bit of Wisconsin sports stuff. Packers going through some really tough PR stuff right now with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Aaron Rodgers, pushing him out the door. It does seem like. I talked to him about that. Got Major League Baseball starts next week. Believe that spring training's wrapping up, and then April 1st we have the start of Major League Baseball season. Talk about that in the Bucks and a whole bunch more. So Bill Michaels coming up on Monday. Jason Charles Miller is going to be on the show next week. Austin Bishop, Travis Chappell, and Jess Lee will all be a part of Cooperville Live next week. And that is just the tip of the iceberg because this is what I do. Like I'll get done with this, probably start reading my book. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to grab this and read a book and then book some more guests for next week because it's just how we roll, people. It's just how we roll. So until then, please jump on the Patreon, follow at whatever level. Right now, we're just kind of sharing everything at all levels. So if you want to join at $10 a month, that'd be awesome. There's 20 and 30. We're going to do some more cool stuff for that. The merch that comes out very soon, Cooperville Apparel, that will be available on our Patreon too. And all of the podcast audio is going to go there as well. So very cool stuff happening exclusively on our Patreon, which again, helps support the show, helps keep it moving, keeps the lights on, keeps the internet moving, sometimes at a slower rate than I am excited about, but that's par for the course around here. Until we meet again on Monday, 5 p.m., have a great night. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. We'll see you Monday.